Now we're into the Skin Retouch Pro section. I'm just going to slide the opacity down on some of these so I can take a snapshot and flatten. This is not an official edit of this image. This is more showing you what the actions can do. So it's going to be a bit of an exaggerated edit on this one, but you can go ahead and watch the other tutorials. In fact, at this point, if you're confident, you can dive ahead and watch the other tutorials. If you'd like to stick around, I'm going to show you the Skin Retouch Pro section, the color correction, lip, eye makeup, enhance, hair salon, everything else is included. But again, these are covered in other tutorials too. If you can hear yapping in the background, that's my puppy. He's a Cavalier King Charles. I thought they were meant to be quiet, but apparently we got the noisiest one on the planet. So now we're into skin prep. These are brushes again. A white brush will be selected for you. You literally just click and paint. Super fun, super easy, very intuitive. So for example, brighten up the face. These do exactly what they say on the tin. And just brighten up that face a little bit there. Very, very gentle as well, because you don't want harsh extreme actions. Again, contour shading, super cool. We can pop this around. I like to pop this around the shadows, the cheek and the jawline, anywhere like that. You can really start adding a 3D, see there, before and after. Really starts bringing that 3D element in. You have Contour Magic Old and New. The old one is the original, so Portrait Vogue has had a huge update, and some of you may enjoy using the old version. Contour Magic New. Old is fading out as well, so if you buy the actions and that's not there, it just means it's been faded out and merged with new. Into the skin retouch section. Now you must have the neural filters installed in your Photoshop. This is something you should have installed already if you're using the later versions of Creative Cloud, but sometimes Photoshop being Photoshop, you might get a big error message come up with these. So what you need to do, and this is what I recommend doing, and you only need to do this once, you don't need to do this every time, is come up onto filter and hit the neural filter. Sorry, so if they don't come up here in your background there, come up to filter and hit on neural filters here. And just double check they're loading up. You do need the cloud to use these. And just make sure you've got these filters popped here, like Skin Smooth, Smart Portrait, Makeup, Landscape, Style, Colour Transformation, Super Zoom, Depth Blur, things like that. Make sure something's showing. If it's not showing for any reason, you'll have download options for these. So just make sure they're set up. You only need to do this once, and you might not need to do it at all. So if you get an error message while using any of the Gentle Savvy or Smooth Soft Skin workflows, make sure you've got neural filters. Don't just be stressed by that. I promise you it's not something stressful. It's just Photoshop having so many options. So let me show you this. Savvy Skin Perfection, for example. I've also got a pop-up. It uses the neural filters. If you haven't downloaded from the cloud, you will get an error. Please only use if you have the latest edition of the filters. And you can delete this pop-up message. I'll show you that in just a moment if you're annoyed with pop-ups. You just hit continue. And this is playing out. Now the Savvy Skins, they take a lot into consideration when editing your images. So this will take a hot second to play out, but I promise you the effects and the time this is going to save is worth it, especially if you've got several images open and you're batching. Let me zoom in and show you what this does. Now the brush is selected for you. I'm going to shrink this down. Ideally, you don't want to be painting these over eyes, eyebrows and hair. You just want to be painting these over the skin. So I'm going to come nice and gently, nice and softly over the skin. You can make the brush a little bit harder so it doesn't bleed over the lip line or the nostrils. Can you see what this is doing? Isn't this amazing? And we've still got the skin texture. These are a blend of neural filters and also many of the LSP secrets kind of all blended into one. Can you see that there? I'm just going to bring this down, those fingers a little bit too, just to calm those down. But again, we don't want to be going over the edges too much. If you do a little bit, that's okay. Can we see that? We're just painting the skin on. Beauty of Photoshop is you get to decide, you get to paint these on where you want. Photoshop is very much a manual editing software, which when it comes to your art is really important to do, and I will always maintain that. This is your art, this is your photography, so editing in the way you want, to your eyes, nobody can kind of see what you want to see when it comes to your image. You see we're getting a beautiful softness to the skin here. You may only want to go over a little bit, which is why I recommend a 25% flow, or you can just keep brushing and brushing and the effect will intensify. And at any point you can switch to a black brush and just take this off any areas you might have accidentally gone over, any detail areas that softened up a little bit too much. Let's see there, before, can you see that? And after, what a huge difference. Huge difference. If you find it looks a little bit too soft, you also have an action here called add texture back to the skin. That's just playing out. You get a thing called skin retexture pop up in your layers panel, and I just recommend dabbing. See how I'm just clicking and dabbing this lightly, and that's added some texture in. You see that? So before the skin retouch, skin savvy perfection on, and skin retexture. And now you have a hyper realistic edit that isn't plastic, it's not fake, it's just beautiful, beautiful skin. We have an extreme, you have smooth, soft skin where you can make it super soft, extreme soft skin, and super airbrush. That's if you want to go, I mean, not many of you are going to want to go for this. Again, the actions give you plenty of options. If you want to go for that super airbrush look, and you can turn this down as well, you don't need the intense effect, you can go ahead and do so. If you wanted to turn up the little notification, turn it off, come off button mode for a moment and locate the gentle skin and savvy skin perfection, whichever one you want to turn off. And next to it, actually, you've got to be a bit careful here, don't hit like any of these checkboxes or anything. This is the kind of command center for the actions. Hit the little drop down, and right at the top there's a command here that says stop. Grab this, it'll make a little fist, and drag it to the trash. And what you've done, you've got rid of that notification now. And then you can go ahead and close the actions. Come up here and go back onto button mode, and you're good to go again. Now we have skin retouch extra brushes. You have wrinkles and lines, calm, medium, strong, and super smooth. So for example, if I hit the MIDI one, this is a medium wrinkle and line reduction. Yes, it's going to make the skin soft. So I recommend having a really soft brush, your hardness all the way down, use square brackets to bring it down, and I'm just going to dab this over any areas. For a beautiful young skin like this, we don't need wrinkle and line reduction, though I may use a little bit here on the fingers. Can you see? Can you see what that's doing? And we also have a grain texture in there. I would not recommend necessarily using any of these at full strength because we don't want to change who people are. We don't want to take their wrinkles away from them. But we do want to soften the effect of how sharp and, you know, how kind of photography studio lighting enhances wrinkles in our subject. See there, before and after? That's the wrinkle and line reduced MIDI. Really very, very cool. You have a shine powder puff, so if you have any areas on your subject that are a little bit shiny, this is quite gentle, you can just dab this a little bit over to take any shine off. But not shine isn't necessarily a bad thing, so I'm going to pull that down. You have a shade under chin contour. For this image, it's not the best example to show you what this does, but if your client has a slight double chin, oh my goodness, I am so sorry for my puppy. He's called Dusty. Need to rename him to Noisy. So I can dab this under the chin. It's going to contour that jawline a little bit. Before and after. So if you have that double chin look, your client is face on and they've pulled their chin down a little bit, you can shade and contour under the chin to kind of blend that a little bit more. Under the body enhance, we have armpit crease calm. This is a super cool one. So if you have kind of some creases in the armpit, if the client is, for example, squeezing their arm into their body or anything like that, we can just dab this over and you can see that it's just calmed it right down. See before and after. Amazing, really? You can also add more texture back to the body skin. Sublime Skin Finisher is that's for those of you who want that billboard style finish, who want that ultra edited fine art. So that's going to give you a beautiful polished look to the skin if you need it. For this image, I'm going to get rid of that. I don't think this image needs it. Now we have skin foundation and toners. So for example, cheek blush. This one comes up super quickly. I'm just going to dab this in. We can have a little bit of blush coming into those cheeks. And at any point, this is an adjustment layer, this one. You see how it's red? You can double click this and you can slide this around. You know, you can make this any kind of colour. I recommend sticking within the original colour, but you might find your subject needs something a little bit peachier, or your subject might want something a bit cooler or a bit redder, a bit more rouge in there. Foundations, you have Pale Porcelain, Warm Balance, Rich Dark, or pick your own. Warm Balance, I'm going to play that. It does exactly what it says on the tin. This is going to balance out the tones of the skin when you have that warmer skin tone there. It's just going to balance everything out, bring that light to the skin. You see there, before and after?